And so the practice I want to share today actually does come from these 31 days of authentic change. And it's the first one in the series because it's really an important place to start when you're wanting to make authentic and lasting changes in your life, and that is with creating your vision. If you don't know what it is that you want to create, it's pretty hard to get there. It's kind of like if you're going on a road trip but you don't know what your destination is, you're probably not going to end up someplace you want to be. Well, you might, but it would just be by what's the word I want, accident. It wouldn't be purposeful. So when we want to make changes in our lives but we're feeling stuck, it really helps to begin by envisioning what we want our life to be like. And this accomplishes a couple of things. First of all, we begin to focus on what we want and not what we don't want, which is typically what we're doing when we're unhappy and stuck. We're looking at how bad our life is. Secondly, we start to get clear on what we want. Many times when we're stuck, we only know what we don't want. And so by starting to look at really what do I want, then we start to get some clarity around that. Thirdly, we feel happier as we quit focusing on all our problems and start to dream about the life that we want to create. So nothing's changed yet, but just by thinking about what we want to be different or what we want to create, we start to feel happier. And as we focus on what we want, we start to see it show up in our lives. This is the law of attraction. What you focus on expands. So that's why it's important to have a vision for what you want in your life. And so the practice here is to spend 15 minutes writing your vision for your dream life. And you may want to write it in a journal that you can reference later, but be sure to know where you wrote it because you will want to come back to it. And really, this is the time to pull out all the stops. Don't worry about how you'll achieve it. Don't worry about whether you think you can achieve it. Just dream. If you had a magic wand or a genie that would grant you an infinite number of wishes, what would you create? Let go and allow yourself to become a child again, dreaming about your life as an adult without having the faintest idea of what is feasible or realistic. So some guidelines for creating your vision. And before I give the guidelines, let me just once again give out the call-in number so that you can call in as I'm finishing up with this practice. The call-in number is 718-766-4415. Would really love to get your questions and your issues so that we can work together a little bit on solving them. Now, coming back to writing your vision, here are some guidelines for it. First of all, you need to write it in the present tense as if it has already happened. And an example of this is, I am married to my soulmate, the love of my life. So we're stating it as if it's already happened. You want to use emotion words that describe how you'll feel when this is true in your life. I'm so excited to be using my unique talents in a role that I love. I feel appreciated and valued every day as I make my contribution to the world. That feels very different than saying, I have a job I like, right? It adds a little bit of oomph to it. You want to write about the end result you want, not how you will create that result. You don't want to write, I am thrilled that all my marketing efforts paid off and my business is thriving. What you do want to write is, I am thrilled to be the owner of a thriving business, because you don't know how the universe will fulfill your desire for a thriving business. It might be through your marketing efforts, but it might be in a way you can't even imagine. And kind of along the same lines, you can be as specific or general as you like, but each of these have their pitfalls if you get too specific or too general. If you're too specific, then you lose out on other great things that can show up in your life. If you write, I feel warm and cozy in my house by the sea, you'd miss out on a house that was on a lake or had a view of the mountains if those locations have just as much pull for you. And by the same token, if you're too general, you may not get what you really want. If you write, I feel warm and cozy in my house by the sea, you might end up with a little cabin with a pull-out couch for a bed and a fireplace with no other source of heating, when what you really meant was a house with at least 3 bedrooms and a furnace. So you want to find that middle road there where you're being specific enough that what you really want is what's going to show up, but not so specific that other things that could fulfill that desire are thrown away. And last but not least, you can write about each area of your life, health, career, relationships, finance, and spirituality. Or you can choose to focus in the area that you are most wanting to shift for right now. So that's kind of the guidelines. Well, not kind of, those are the guidelines for writing your vision for your life and some of the reasons why you want to do that. And I just want to encourage you, number one, to do it. And when you do it, have fun and dream really big.